Conceal your intentions. Welcome to my breakdown of Law 3 of the 48 Laws of Power. By concealing or hiding your actions, plans, moves, or plays, you continue to increase your presence while also keeping those who have their eyes stuck on you completely lost. Nobody knows what you are planning or what you are doing. Everybody just knows that you're planning or doing something. And by keeping people in the shadows of this, you keep them in a constant state of suspense. And the human mind has to know what is going on. When whatever plan or play that you have going on comes to light, everybody will be in a constant state of shock and awe and will be completely starstruck because you never spoke with your words, you spoke with your actions, and that brings so much more power than anything else does. Now, the third law is the first law in the 48 Laws of Power that has two parts to it. The first part for this is called to use decoyed objects of desire and red herrings to throw people off the scent. Now, what I believe that means is that if you have a goal and if the wrong person knows, or if anybody in whatever case you are in knows, puts a pause or a stump or even a hole in your plans, you do not want them to ruin that for you. Therefore, you tell them false secrets. You tell them things that they want to know because in their head they are attempting to ruin whatever it is you have planned. Because as I said, nobody knows what you're plotting. They just know that you're plotting. So they have to figure out what this is because the human mind hates blanks. They hate question marks. They need to figure out what it is that has this man looking so mysterious. What has this man planning? Because they have no idea how that plan of his can affect them. So by throwing them off with these false desires meaning giving them exactly what they want to hear, and putting them on a whole different path to finding you. Therefore, you can continue to do as you have been, and they're off on some other side quest. Use decoyed objects of desire. What this means is to feed them exactly what they are searching for. Don't exploit your plan. Don't share or tell them what it is they really want to know. Instead, I know some of y'all hate this, you lie. They don't know what it is you are plotting. All they know is that you are plotting or planning something, and that to them is terrifying because they have to know what it is that you have going on. So tell them something just as top-notch, something out of this world that they want to hear because they want to get into that and they want to destroy that for you and lead them on a whole entire different path to keep them off of your scent for you to keep on doing as you please without any pauses or stumps in your own plan. Do not ever allow them to know your intent. If they find themselves on the path towards that, completely throw them off. Throw them off by putting them onto a path by showing extremely mixed signals or objects of desire to lead them completely off of your path. I think we can all agree that women and men are completely different, aside when it comes to seduction. We both want to be seduced in the same ways. We can sense when we are being seduced. We love the feeling. We love the feeling of being led on. We know that it's happening to us, but sometimes we do not realize until it's too late. I know you've been in the situation where you've been out with this girl, or girls, you've been out with this guy. You guys are having so much fun. You guys have gone on plenty of dates, and one day it ends. I don't know where it ends. Something like, I don't believe my feelings for you are growing. I'm losing feelings. Something along those lines. And after this moment happens for you in your relationship with this person, you make the realization that you were led on. And after the fact, we all hated the feeling. But we knew what was going on. We knew what was going on, and we just adored the feeling of feeling wanted, of feeling seduced by another person. You just loved the feeling of being seduced, loved, or wanted. Even the Countess at a point knew that the Marquise was leading her on and was playing a game, but she was so intrigued and excited by this man's game that she didn't even care. But the moment he shouted love, everything fell down for her. The adventure, the excitement was over. And after this, she felt completely used because he knew his true intentions from the very start. He was no longer a fun game. What was now charming was now distasteful and disgusting to her. Now, I never really took it this way in the 48 Laws. I never used it as a guide to love because I thought this was something completely different. This isn't about love or a relationship. There are a few love stories in this, but my big take of this was how to attain the heights of power, how to avoid people knocking you over and stopping you from reaching what is known as your higher purpose, your true purpose. This book is all taken on how you perceive it. If you perceive it in a way of using it to manipulate people, it can be used for this. But not everybody is the same when it comes to this book. But right before we go on to the second part of this law, I want to explain something about this first part right here, or the overall law. Concealing your intentions runs so far deep because you will be in the situations where people test you. You will be in the situations where people doubt you. You will be in situations where people think you are so small. They will call you nothing. They will shame you. And your response will be to tell them exactly what they're trying to know. Your response will be to try to rub it in their damn face that you're doing this, that you're better than them because this is where you're at. This is where control comes in. A man without self-control is not a man that can be trusted. You need to have the control within yourself, for when you get into situations like this, it doesn't affect you. You walk away. You keep your pride. You don't let somebody win by allowing them to get under your skin in such a way. For now, you have revealed your plan. You revealed your goal. You have told them what has them so upset with you. You didn't even do anything, but they're so insecure within themselves that they will say and do whatever is necessary to try to get under you. And if you allow them, you will destroy yourself. So this is where that self-control that I'm talking about plays into concealing your intentions, because you have to guard this the same way you have to guard your reputation, which is the law that I'm breaking down right after this one. With that being said, let me now go into part 2 of Law 3 of the 48 Laws of Power. Now, part 2 of this law is said right here: to use smoke screens to disguise your actions. Yes, everything I just mentioned in the first part of this law is true, but the second part heightens that. The second part right here makes it so much more better. It makes it so much more satisfying. It plays into throwing people off of that scent that we were talking about. By holding up a smoke screen is, I'm sure you've heard of the term blowing smoke up somebody's ass. You tell them what they want to hear, or you suck up to them, which is exactly what the warlords of Ethiopia did. There was a very, I'm going to get into the story in a bit, but there was a man who wanted to take over the land of Ethiopia from the king, who he thought was not rightful at all. The king invited this man over to a palace for some type of event, and he would only come if he was allowed to bring 600 of his top warriors with him, and the king invited them happily. And while his warriors were off somewhere else and this man was in the palace with the king, he was threatening the king. He was talking so much toward the king to try to distray him, or I'm not even sure that's the word, to try to dismay him, to try to put fear into the king, and the king made it seem like he accomplished his goal. He did exactly what he wanted as a smokescreen, because by doing this while this man was threatening the king already had his own army devouring the 600 warriors that he had brought with him. Nobody expected the king to do this because nobody even knew the king. The king was a peacemaker. The king was a peaceful man. Everybody thought he was a fool, and nobody expected for him to do this right here. So lying could be used as a smokescreen. False goals can be used as a smokescreen. Hidden intentions can be used as a smokescreen. There are so many different tools available to you that can be used to make hiding your intentions so much more satisfying for when you are in a situation where you must do so. A smokescreen is when you really have to hide it from somebody. Somebody is on your path. They're so close and you deter them. Now let me get into the first tale or observation of part 2 of this law. The warlords of Ethiopia felt threatened by a nobleman who can arise to the claim of their leader. And when what they all feared had came to fruition, a man defied him. This I'm calling the defiant man. A man defied him and called him unfit and weak to be their leader. This nobleman was not like Ethiopia's typical leader. This man was patient. He was calm. He was never angry. He kept himself under control, and this man took it as weakness, did not see him as fit to be a leader of their land. Now I need you to understand that the paranoid and the wary are often the easiest people to deceive, because they are always thinking that something is a trap. They're always thinking there's always a hidden motive, and therefore it may seem off or it may seem tricky to you all, but by somebody who is expecting to see, they are pretty easy to deceive. Let them think exactly what it is that they think is going to happen. This man thought that the king was luring him into a trap. Yes, he was, but not the trap he expected. I'm gonna share that with you right now. Now, the deceitful man was invited to a banquet hosted by the king in his palace, but he expected it to be a trap, as I had explained. He was so paranoid of this being a giant trap. So he sent a message to the king saying he would only arrive to this banquet if he was allowed to bring his 600 of his strongest warriors to the palace with him. And the king did something nobody expected. He even surprised the deceitful man himself. He said they are all welcome. They're all welcome. It was indeed a trap, but it was a trap nobody expected, as this leader always kept up a smokescreen. Nobody expected to be the type of person that would have the capacity to dismantle a whole army and completely destroy a man without him even knowing, because he was never impatient. He was never angry, and because of that, he was able to hide his own emotions to be able to carry out his own plan. The best part of this is that what can be used as a amazing smoke screen is, for example, think of a poker face. Nobody can read you if you keep an emotionless expression on your face all the time. You can be thinking a million thoughts, but nobody will be able to tell what your next play is. They can only tell They can only tell that you are planning something or you are thinking of something. And just by you thinking instills fear into others, because they don't expect this from you. They don't know what is going through your head nor through your mind. So when they see your mind at work, they see your mind at play, they see it coming and forming into actions, they are in fear. But some people are in curiosity and they need to know. This is where you deter them. While the defiant man was at the banquet attempting to intimidate the leader and instill fear into him, and the leader took it. The leader kept calm and in his stance, but at times showed fear. He gave the man exactly what he was trying to accomplish, made him think he actually put fear into his leader. He took offense to what was being said to him, and the defiant man walked away pleased. But little did he know that was all a front, because while the defiant man was trying to intimidate the leader sent his own army to wipe out the camp of these 600 men, and he bought all of their weapons. He didn't even try to take out the army. He bought all of their weapons, all of their armor, and just destroyed their camp and left the people alone. Now when this defiant man came back to his campground to witness all of this, obviously his only thought is to retreat. As he attempts to retreat, the king set his army blocking the one path that it takes to leave back to his own land. And now the defiant man and his army is stuck between the king's army trying to prevent him from escaping, from fleeing, and the capital in which he was planning to storm. And so obviously the defiant man's only move was to surrender. The best deceivers will never call attention to themselves. They do not appear strong, nor do they appear weak. They stay just in the middle, like fucking what's the name? Like Goldilocks. Just right. They don't appear strong. They don't appear weak. Nobody expects anything of them. They perceive a front to throw people off to their own benefit, because now nobody is able to. You can play the fool, play the court jester, because everybody thinks that those guys are fools, but you can pretend to be a fool and you know that you are the smartest man in the room. You are plotting and planning your own goals and you are acting on them, showing them in your end result, in your end action, and everybody's going to be in shock and awe because nobody thought that a fool like you would be able to accomplish something to this capacity. The world wants to be surprised with deception or false deception. Entertainment and amusement is going to be humanity's downfall. Therefore, attempt to exploit it. And by this, I mean this is the perfect smokescreen as well. People search for entertainment. People search for amusement. Therefore, if you put up this front or this false hope or this false task that would bring somebody enjoyment, that would bring somebody amusement or pleasure, they would automatically prefer that over trying to figure you out. Now, my overall take of this whole law 3, conceal your intentions. I feel like this is one of the most straightforward, simple, but also the most powerful laws in this whole entire book. By people knowing what you are doing, which is why I have not resentment, but I don't like to be around the people that share their whole life. I don't like to be around people that share all of their goals with all of these other people. I mean, I share goals, but not my true goals. Again, as it just said in the book from what I had just broke down, if you want to deceive people or use a smokescreen on people, give them your false goals, give them your false desires. They don't have to know. You just have to feed them with what they are striving to know about you. Concealing your intentions runs deep into getting as high as possible in the power of life, because when people see something going good, when people see good, that is their evil trying to creep into that and prevent you from getting higher. Because if nobody knows where you are going, if nobody knows your next step, your next 2 steps, your next 5 steps, but you're thinking 10 steps ahead, you will achieve everything that you are trying to achieve for, because the less people that know is the better for you. The less people that know are less people trying to prevent you from reaching to the top. And the top is where you want to be. Because if the wrong person ends up hearing your true intent, their opinions, society, humanity, your enemies, your haters, as you guys love to so call it, will pounce. They will not give you a second to think. They will not give you a second to recover. The second that you lose the concealment of your intent is the second you will have to fight harder. And that is the second that everything either pauses for you to figure this out and keep on moving on, or the pathway to where everything falls and begins to crumble because you couldn't keep it to yourself. You couldn't keep your mouth shut. You wanted to share, you wanted to make somebody else feel inferior to you, but you have to remain humble throughout all of this. One of the top heights of powers is also humbleness. Once you master control and humbleness, you have mastered law 3 of concealing your intentions. And as always, I hope you guys have taken something well from my breakdown of Law 3 of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I always highly recommend this book for if you want to reveal to yourself your highest power and exactly how and the steps to take, the guidelines to reach to where this is for you. In my next episode, which I already have studied down and written down for you guys, is Law 4. So stay tuned for that one, and as always, I believe in you guys. Comment down below your thoughts on this, if you disagree, if you agree, if you have a different perspective, all this, because life is all about perspectives. If you would love to read more about that, I would highly recommend you read Marcus Aurelius' book on meditations. It's amazing on perspective, and it will give your mind so much mental clarity. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one for when we break down Law 4 of the 48 Laws of Power.